Long time, two-time world champion at 5,000 meters. He ran 12:58 in Rome this year, looking to better that. And these two will have a nice matchup head-to-head here.
So Edris, like we've been saying with all the American world champions, afforded that wild card spot. So he's maybe taking a different tack to his training this year. And Barega, as usual, animated and ready to run.
Jimmy Gracier, the Frenchman, number-time European champion, most famously known for his celebrations if he wins. So that would be a nice treat for the fans and for the audience watching at home.
And from Burundi, Dukumenweo has that lifetime best this year of sub-13, which kind of gives you that classification of world-class status.
He's been a busy man this year, knocking at the door at 13 for a while. He finally punched through in Rome. It tells you how fast that race was and how deep these fields are.
Also saw Gordy Beamish of New Zealand. Lives and trains in the U.S. and looking to maybe put up a big number here. The On Athletics Club has had their group over in Europe, and we saw a couple of their top athletes run very well in Oslo.
That meet looked a little like Milrose, where they just kept gaining momentum throughout, and Beamish had a phenomenal run there at 3,000 meters. He was kind of like the Rich Strike of the track world, except his big upset come from behind victory preceded Rich Strike, so maybe Rich Strike is the Beamish? I don't know. We could take that to the polls and see who gets the name there.
Just means we need betting in track and field. That would solve all our problems, right? Because you love to bet the underdog and the long odds. All right, we're settling in for the pace here at 5,000 meters, 12.5 laps of the track. The aforementioned Beamish in the middle there, back in about 7th position. We'll have out in front the two pace setters, Ben Buckingham of Australia and Rodrigue Quizera of Burundi. And they've been asked to go out right at 13-minute pace. We had a very aggressive pace in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase that we didn't think the heat would sustain, but we were proven wrong. So we'll see with the temperatures maybe a little cooler now as they've gotten well into the latter part of the evening here in Paris. It could set up for a very fast race.
That's right. It's right. It's winding into better conditions, and you've seen people go before and run quick. We saw that in the 800. We saw that in the steeple. So it's a good night to take a chance, and you kind of see them stringing out now, so they're tucked into the right pace, the right rhythm. Pace setter doing a good job just helping them lock in.
As we saw and talked about Barega's capabilities at the 10,000 meter distance, here at the 5, I mean, how would you explain to the casual viewer, besides the distance being double, how's the racing different?
10,000 is kind of hurry up and wait. You want to turn off your mind for about 20 laps, which sounds insane because that's just too many laps to begin with. But you want to be as calm and as patient as possible. I think there's a little bit more matching up in the 5,000 meters. It's kind of like indoor where the track just feels like it's shortened. So you'll cover moves, and then this will wind up over the last 2 laps to most likely be a big kick.
So the two pacers still in front here, and then Barega and Nibrit Melak of Ethiopia.
This will be fun to see Barega on a little bit fresher legs than he had in Rome. He was coming off at 10,000 meters in Hengelo, where he made the Ethiopian team for the World Championships. Quick turnaround, came back and ran the 5,000 in Rome. Got broken off that front pack, thought, hey, he could just throw in the towel here, sandbag it, and save his legs for another day. He did not. He dug in deep and finished in 12:54. So little fresher legs, maybe he can go faster.
More racing happening here in Paris when we come to the other side of the break. Back in Paris for the conclusion of this men's 5,000 meters. The now single pace setter of Quizera of Burundi leading Barega and Edris. Went through 2 kilometers in 5:13.91, maybe a second above that prescribed 13-minute pace, but the pace remains hot here, Des.
That's probably ideal. I mean, you want to wind into this thing, and if it's a little slow early, it allows them to negative split late if the race is going in their direction. You can see the heat probably taking a toll on these guys, and the heat of the pace up front is just a little too rich for some of these men. They're committing to having a great race and not just a good race. So we'll see who can make the split and who pays the price late.
So now 4 in that lead group, and then that tough position to be in where you're separated from those ahead of you and behind you. As Edris now swings to the outside, coming in for a little bit of hydration, and that's not easy to do when you're flying down the backstretch.
Not at all. Fairly unusual, particularly in a 5,000 meters. I'm not sure what the game plan was when he got it, probably over the head. I can't imagine him trying to take a sip out of a cup at this point. Hydration not necessary, but just cooling. Again, that tells you it's warm, they're digging deep, and that is a factor in who makes the break and who's falling off right now.
Well, this will be 3,000 meters when they get to the line. 7:48 would be right on 13-minute pace. And you just sense, yeah, that kilometer was quicker, 2:33.
It's winding up, and I feel like Barega was almost putting the pressure on the pacer, saying, hey, I want this a little bit richer. He looks super comfortable. He looks really relaxed. Jaws bouncing, arms are nice and comfortable. He's not pressing yet at all, so he's well within himself. And now he has the space where he can take some chances if he really wants to try and drive this thing home and do something special tonight.
You see the gap now opening up here.
So impressive. Barega, you have to wonder about the motivation here. Is how deep does he want to dig at this point in his season? Is it just, hey, let's relax now, get the win, check the board, and see what I've done? Or does he want to do something special over these last few laps and really test himself and get that pop in his legs? He's winding into form for the World Championship, so that's all on his mind right now.
So a little less than a mile to go now on the track here in Paris, with Selemon Barega leading this men's 5,000 meters. Edris and Dukumweneo of Burundi second and third. The Frenchman Gressier, part of that group, back in 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's keeping the crowd engaged for cheering for the hometown. But Barega really opening this up now.
Absolutely. He looks so smooth. I mean, it's hot. He's working hard, but he's very much within himself. This guy's got a lot of running left in his legs. I think we'll see a pretty nice last lap just to kind of flex a bit. But nothing special right now, just doing what he does. This looks like a long tempo run to him.
62.35 on that last lap with 3 laps to run. They'll reach the top of the backstretch. It'll be 4K. Again, that 13-minute pace, about 10:24 at 4K. Had a 2:33 on the last kilometer. Let's see if he's sustained that pace here. As really, it's now a race with him and the clock. Goes right past that water station and rolls through. Maybe slightly slower. In fact, now confirmed 2:35.31, but still sub 13 with a K to go.
That's most likely just lack of pressure. There's no one there with him. He's testing himself. It can slip a bit, particularly at this part of the race. It's a little like a third lap of a mile where you almost want to regroup, get your legs back under you, and be ready for that big finish. I think there's just not a ton of motivation in terms of pressure at this point happening around him. So this is just a test of Barega versus Barega, and he's doing everything he can right now to keep himself honest.
Yeah, that margin growing with every stride here as he heads down the backstretch for the penultimate time. As the Olympic champion at 10,000 meters have his eye on a world title in Oregon in July. That now less than 30 days away. With a lap and a half to go, the crowd urging him on to the finish.
He's feeling it now. The distance, but also smelling home. He knows it's close. So tuned into that bell lap. He hears it. He'll know exactly what to do. Part instinct, part right now just practicing for the next round, getting ready for the World Championships and testing himself with one to go.
So he hits the bell at 63.25 for the last lap, and now definitely within striking distance of that sub 13-second performance. And the crowd on their feet for him for this last trip down the backstretch.
You can tell he's turned it up. The arms are moving a little quicker. The stride opens just a touch. He's digging deep. 13 is no joke. And his season's best could be under threat right now if he really dives in this last 200. It puts the pressure on, and you can see it. It's getting a little quicker. The cadence picks up. The turnover picks up. He's on a mission. He wants that finish line.
He ran 12:54.87 in Rome. That's the 5th best performer in 2022. But Selemon Barega coming to the finish line now. It looks like it'll be just above that season's best last lap of 59.65. As we wait for anyone else to get close to the finish line, finally is Dikumoneo of Burundi, who overtakes Idris, and the crowd's still on their feet, I think, as Gressier comes across the line, as he will finish in 4th, and the French love that. But Selemon Barega, a dominant performance here in Paris, winning the 5,000.
He made that look like an exercise. Let me practice what I want to do on the next level. Let me work here. Let me compose myself there. It's probably looking at that 3K to 4K going, all right, that's where I need to tune things up, but I'm going to have help in the next round. Loved my finishing kick. Loved how I ground down the competition throughout. He's still got some running in the legs when things are cooler and the competition's a little hotter for him.
Well, you see the final results. Gressier with a lifetime best, finishing